Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay. Are you employed at the moment?
I am currently retired.
Okay. That nice?
It's very nice.
All right. What you witnessed and you observed, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. In the year 2020, when he got mononucleosis, was diagnosed with that, um, were you in a position to observe his symptoms?
Yes, I was.
Okay, can you tell us what he experienced in way of symptoms?
Yes. High fever, sore throat, extreme exhaustion, just overall fatigue, lethargy, lack of appetite.
Okay. And when he was diagnosed with COVID in 2020, was that during his senior year in high school?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Do you remember what his COVID symptoms were?
Yes, these were similar. He had sore throat, he had high fever, very tired. He did lose his sense of taste and smell, and of course the lack of appetite.
Okay. After those two illnesses that happened in the same year, right?
Yes.
After those two illnesses, did you see a change in Trinidad's ability to exert himself physically like he would have to do if you training, working out, conditioning?
I did. I did. I saw a slowdown. He just was tired all the time, and the usual very active young person that he was, because he was always very active, just there was a change, and he just didn't have the energy. He would come home from school, was very tired, slept a lot.
Did he complain to you about lacking energy?
He did. He did. So sometimes when we did, we tried to problem solve that, right? Like, okay, what can we do to boost your energy? Can we drink more protein shakes? Can we take more vitamins? Can we take more medication? We just were a bit at a loss.
Okay. For lack of better words, after the COVID and after the mononucleosis, were you his walking pharmacy?
I was, and I would joke with my husband and family about that. Like, anybody would come to me, right? Because I'd have everything. Yes, I probably should have had stock in one of the pharmaceutical companies, or the manufacturers of NyQuil, DayQuil, because I have that constantly. Claritin, all of those things.
You know what it means to take a medicine prophylactically? I probably mispronounced that. To take a medicine just to ward off illness before you're sick.
Proactively, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what we were doing. I was just very, I guess, paranoid about Trinidad getting sick because I did not, number one, want him to miss any school. He was a good student, but he had to work for his grades, like me. As I told him, I said, you can't afford to be sick, and that means you can't afford to miss school, you can't afford to fall behind either in school or your athletic training, because so much of our time, energy, and has gone into this.
Was he on scholarship at Ferris State?
Yes, he was.
Was a condition of that scholarship that he stay in school, make sufficient grades, and also participate in football at whatever level he was capable of doing?
Yes.
Okay. Could you and Mr. Chambliss have afforded for him to lose that scholarship?
No.
How did you react? Like, in periods of time when you saw he's just not working out hard enough, and he's not gaining weight, and he's not progressing in his development, what was your initial reaction to that?
I would get on him. I would get in his behind and tell him, you need to, let's get going, let's get going. We can overcome this, mind over the physical. And so at times, and there are times I look back and I regret maybe being a little too harsh on him. But it ended up that I was proven wrong. It was not just in his mind, it was a physical problem that he had.
And when did you find out that you were proven wrong?
When Dr. Howard told us that his tonsils and adenoids were infected,
And what else did Dr. Howard tell you? Are you talking about the first time Trinidad went to see Dr. Howard in August of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. What else did he tell you in the way of problems that his tonsils and adenoids were going to cause Trinidad to have?
Obstruction of breathing. I mean, he just wasn't bringing in enough air to, as an athlete, to be able to perform at the level that he was capable of previously, and that could, cause him to have lack of good sleep, which can, poor nutrition because his appetite is lowered, just a whole bunch of things that could be negative.
Right. Did you witness him having problems with his sleep?
Absolutely.
Explain to us what you witnessed.
He snored very loudly. I could hear him through his bedroom door. If he ever fell asleep on the couch or in the living room, TV room, would hear him snoring extremely loud. We joked about it, laughed about it, but it really wasn't funny because there were times that he would stop, literally, in my opinion, he would stop breathing.
Okay, why do you say in your opinion?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but he literally, I couldn't hear him breathing anymore. So I would put my hand over his mouth or his nose to see if there was any breath. Also just watching his chest, whether it was going up or down. I was very concerned with that.
Did you ever talk to did you go to the visits with Dr. Howard?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever talk to Dr. Howard about, look, kid doesn't breathe for some period of time during sleep?
Yes, I did.
What did he tell you?
Well, he said he definitely had sleep apnea, and that was not a good thing. And that the inflamed and infected tonsils and adenoids were directly affecting that.
Was Trinidad sick when he returned to school at Fair State in the fall of 2022?
I'm sorry?
Was Trinidad sick when he returned to Fair State in the fall of 2022?
Yes, he was.
How do you know that?
Because I bought all kinds of medication for him. He and I are close, regular communication. If he ever wasn't feeling well, called me. I ordered medications from over-the-counter medications from Big Rapids Walmart or Myers and had them delivered, or told him, go through Walgreens, this is what you're going to get. We need to stay on top of this. You cannot miss school.
Okay. You were 1 hour away from him, right?
Yes.
Would you check with him frequently during the week?
Absolutely.
How many times a week? In the fall of 2022?
Yeah, well, let's say how many times a day.
Okay.
Probably is more accurate.
What was your concern? I mean, other than the fact that your son was telling you he felt bad, what was your concern? Why were you so vigilant in checking with him?
Because I didn't want him to miss any school. I needed him to be healthy. I needed him to be in better shape so he wouldn't jeopardize the scholarship from Ferris, and that he would be able to maybe play more.
Right. What was your understanding of his status on the football team during the fall of 2022?
And he was medically redshirted.
And how did you find that out?
Well, first Trinidad told me,
Okay.
and that's what we all knew for that whole entire year. I did have a conversation this past fall with Coach Anise specifically when we were, in communication with Ferris about this whole thing. And Coach Anise reiterated to me that it was considered a medical redshirt, and he made mention of, wishing they had actually filed the paperwork on that it was a medical redshirt.
Okay. So it's your understanding that Fair State declared him a medical redshirt in 2022, but did not file any paperwork?
Correct.
Now, what do you understand is the reason for it not filing the paperwork?
I understand because they made the assumption that he was remaining at Ferris and that they didn't foresee this, that he would be transferring to an SEC or D1 or any other school. So So they saw no reason to actually file it, is what I was told.
From your understanding, if Trinidad was still at Fair State right now, would he be able to play in the fall of 2026?
He would.
Why is that?
D1 rules are different than D2, and he hasn't exhausted what that entails for D2 qualification.
Do you remember when Trinidad came for the first time to visit Ole Miss?
I do.
Okay, when was that, roughly?
That was April of last year.
Okay. Were you with him?
I was.
Okay. Did you meet with any of the personnel at Ole Miss football?
Yes.
Did you meet with a person who was at that time the general manager of football named Billy Glasscock?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What did Mr. Glasscock tell you and Trinidad about how many more years he would have left to play after transferring to Ole Miss?
Then he would have 2 more years to play football.
Okay. And is that because in 2022 he was a medical redshirt?
Correct.
I think even newspapers, before he actually transferred to Ole Miss, published that he had 2 years left to play. Are you aware of that?
I am.
And Trinidad, after the 2024 season, gave an interview to like a Fair State journalist or somebody connected with the athletic department.
Yes.
Have you watched his interview?
I have.
In that interview, how many more years does Trinidad say he's got left to play before he even arrived at Ole Miss?
2 years.
Let's talk about a surgery that he had in December 2024. Did you stay with him pretty consistently during his recovery from the surgery?
Yes, I don't want to embarrass him, but I actually slept in the same family room that he was recovering in, just because of what was happening during his recovery.
Did he complain during his recovery about feeling bad?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
That he was well, he thought he was dying for one, but he was in extreme pain, and it was honestly the most pain I've ever seen him in. And he's had injuries, kids do. And it really it reinforced what Dr. Howard originally said, how painful this type of surgery is for adults. Didn't really believe it at first, but then I witnessed it with my own child, and it was bad.
Yeah. Had you encouraged him to have the surgery at that point in time?
Well,
I'm just curious.
I wanted him to feel better.
Yeah.
But initially I didn't want it to interrupt school. And I know we talked about that earlier, but I know him and I knew it was going to interrupt school. So initially I did not. I mean, I knew eventually he should have it. So to answer your question, yes, eventually.
Yeah. To your knowledge, was there something about the timing of that surgery, and by that I mean, was there something that Trinidad was trying to achieve before he had that surgery?
I'm sorry, with the question?
Yeah. Trinidad didn't play football in 2021, right?
Correct.
He didn't play a single snap of football in a game in 2022, correct? He played a little bit in 2023, correct? All right. And in 2024, he becomes the starting quarterback at Fair State and has a really good year.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know whether or not your family was putting off that surgery until he could achieve something meaningful on the football field?
Yes.
After he recovered from the acute pain of the tonsillectomy procedure in 2024, did you notice some changes in Trinidad?
Extreme changes. He could breathe. He wasn't snoring anymore. He was getting a good night of sleep. his school was going great, not that it was going poorly before, but just that that wasn't a concern at all. No, he just had all this energy, and he's totally different after having it.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I tender Mrs. Chambliss for questions.
Cross-examination, let's ask you. I've been asked to set up, but some of you in the back can't hear. Cross-examination, let's ask you.
Thank you. Ms. Chambliss, I just want to say congratulations on raising an outstanding young man. I don't have any questions for you.
Thank you.
Has it been your practice to meet with Trinidad on the sideline before you start the game?
Yes, sir.
You had some good words of wisdom for him and somebody else.
Yes, the Lord Jesus Christ.
You did.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Who you have there?
Call Mr. Trinidad Chambliss, Your Honor.
All right, gentlemen, it's 12 o'clock. We all want to start, and my plan would be if we take Trinidad, take him over to rec and break for lunch before cross, unless we move pretty fast. Do y'all have preferences of how we go from here? Or we love break for lunch now? Bring him back up.
My preference would be break now because I probably could be more efficient if I take a look at my notes and limit it to, new information and not things that a couple of witnesses have repeated.
I certainly, during that time, would be reviewing all the pleadings, evidence, and everything that's been presented to start really to hopefully make a decision sometime today. So,
We don't have a preference, but since Mr. Liston said he'll be more efficient, we kind of want to do that.
I did not guarantee it, Your Honor. I'm just a
Well,
chance.
I'd state you, Doug, if you'd be more efficient, you'd like to go ahead and break?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't hear you very well. All right, well, I tell you what, we're gonna take a break for lunch. How long is it? There's not many places to eat around this place. So, I'd say be back at 1:30?
Yes, sir.
1:15, what do y'all think? An hour 15, hour 30, hour 30?
I would say 1:15.
All right, 1:15, all right, gentlemen.